Mr. Eggplant presents.
Hey guys, Tyler here, and thanks for checking out this video. And I'm finally getting around to checking out the Shadowlands alpha patch notes, so hope you guys will enjoy this video. And also, before we get started, these will be as of May 13th. So if you're watching this in late May or even into June, they're probably going to change. And I'll probably do a video if it's worth doing, because I don't want to just sit here and every little change put something out that's new. And be sure and check me out live at Twitch TV/Mr. Eggplant for all of my live World of Warcraft and vintage video games. So let's get started. So I decided to go ahead and record it like this. I hope you guys enjoyed this style. Instead of just watching my face talk about it, we can actually just check out the patch notes, and I'm not going to try to just sit there and read the patch notes to you guys, because I know you guys could do that. I'll give you my commentary, what I think, what I'd like to see them add, what looks good to me already, and then kind of where I'm hoping they're going to take the spec, because it's the framework is there. They're building on BFA in a quality direction in my eyes, so I'm hoping that you guys see the same way. So baseline, big changes here. Everybody's getting Arcane Shot except for probably the melee. Survival, I don't know why they would have Arcane Shot, but who knows. I think they'll probably change that to saying all ranged hunter specs. But everybody's getting Hunter's Mark baseline, so we don't have to waste a slot on that on our talent tree. That's going to be amazing. I'm hoping they take it off the global cooldown. I don't know yet. They haven't actually done that, and I haven't got on the alpha to know. Killshot's coming back. We'll talk about that here in just a second. And then Tranquilizing Shot is a big one. The other two, Eyes of the Beast, Scare Beast, really don't matter too much, at least. But Trank Shot will be nice, so you don't have to carry around a Soothe pet if you're the only one in your Mythic Plus group, or Torghast, that sort of thing. You can just do it yourself. It'll have probably it'll cost 10 focus if I had to guess, and then it'll also have a decent cooldown, probably like 15 seconds, maybe it's less, maybe it's like a soothe with the druid. We'll just have to see. And then they're increasing our stable size, which is really nice because they haven't done that in quite some time, so that is a welcome thing, even though we don't necessarily use our pets too much. So anything that's here that's not really any different other than their disengage is lowering the cooldown by 10 seconds baseline. That pretty much keeps it to where it is right now, which isn't a big deal. But the big thing, the bread and butter right now, is going to be Killshot. So it does 200% of your attack power, only used below 20%. So it does get in our 80-20 zone on the 20% side. And later on, you can actually get 2 charges of it in your talent tree, which will be what I'm picking. And that is going to be super nice. And there's an ability that allows you to sometimes be able to cast that regardless of their health, which is kind of like what warriors have now in one of their abilities. It's one of the specs. And then we get Binding Shot just as being a marksman hunter, so we don't have to waste a talent on that as well. So already, right off the bat, we're getting 2 talent slots back that we would be using for these 2 utility abilities, which will be nice. So shifting to go and talk about Covenants really fast, and I do apologize if I screw up some of these names. I guarantee you I'll say them wrong at some point. But they did add a few new ones, and we'll kind of talk about those real fast. And by a few, I mean one. So the Kyrian, this one first here, it piqued my interest because it does allow you to ignore line of sight, which is the bane of existence of marksman hunters, especially in arena. However, they do have to be in the target location, so I don't know if I'm assuming that just stays on the ground like a Death and Decay or Consecrate, that sort of thing, but probably not as big. It's just gonna have to play around and see, because I'm really not sure, because I have not been on the alpha yet, unfortunately. But that would be good in PvP situations, in arena especially, or first off, stops the pillar humping for a healer, that's for sure. You can just waylay on them for 10 seconds. But I was looking at this one in particular beforehand, but Necrolord is also the Death Chakram, looks to be pretty good as well. So the Flayed Shot was what I was looking at first, where it does 250% of your attack power is shadow damage, so it could be mitigated since it's not physical. It's over 20 seconds, and then every time you shoot, or the dot, I guess because technically it's a dot because it's a bleed, does damage, has a 15% chance to give you Flayer's Mark, which now causes your next kill shot to be on any target regardless of health. Like I just said, that's huge. Kill shot is going to be our #1 thing, especially if it's up during you know, like our true shot, being able to get out as many of those aim shots as possible. So it only costs 10 focus. It's instant and it has a decent range, which I'm assuming our mastery stays the same, which increases our range, will also go up. And it has a fairly low cooldown. And this one here is new since I recorded my initial video that ended up being old before I even got it up, which is the Necrolord, the Death Chakram. So it puts it on your target, will rapidly deal 50% of your damage up to 7 times. So not a ton of damage up front, but each time it damages a different target, it generates an additional damage of 15% and it gives you 3 focus. So it's a 40-yard range as well. So think of it kind of like a rapid fire, so to speak. And it does give you focus and it has a longer cooldown. I'm kind of in between these two. I'd actually have to play it to really feel what I'm looking at, and I do want to see them kind of flesh out our damage a little bit more before I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm picking this, yeah, I'm picking this, because it is alpha after all. So we're going to skip over that Beast Mastery Hunter in Shadowlands because I am not qualified to talk about that at all. So these are going to be the specific Marksman Hunter changes. So Deadeye, like I talked about, 2 charges of your kill shot instead of just 1. So you could go kill shot, aim shot, kill shot, because you can see there on the back side where aim shot recharges faster for a short time after you've used your kill shot. So what you want to do is you sandwich it together. So kill shot, kill shot, you're going to be able to get those aim shots much quicker, and you know they're going to do a lot of damage very, very quickly. So binding shot deals, they do less damage to a hunter when you have them on there. So warriors in your face, rogues in your face, you just throw down your binding shot, disengage back, and you've slowed them at least for a little bit so you can kind of get away before they bridge that gap with Shadow Step or with their charge. But Volley is also now, it is going to be down here in level 50 in the talent tree. They brought it back. It's the old version of Volley for the most part. You don't have to channel it, but it is as close to old Volley as we're going to get. And then you do get the effects of trick shots while it's active, which is important for AoE, so keep that in mind. So our talent tree, this is what I'm going to pick. So chances are very good. Murder of Crows will be good at the beginning of the expansion. It always seems to be. Both the last 2 expansions, it's been the best pick at the beginning, just because we're doing less of our damage than, let's say, the Murder of Crows would in that minute. However, very quickly on, as soon as we get a little bit of gear, we're going to move back to Master Marksman, because aim shot has an additional 25% chance to deal a critical strike. You want crit strikes. You want that, especially with this one, which is what we're running with right now. Which, by the way, to backtrack just a second, I'm getting a little too excited. The Master Marksman is changed. So right now, whenever you cast your aim shot, you get your next arcane shot that is free. Well, now you don't get that, so it just gives you a base 25% additional chance to crit with your aim shot, since you're going to be relying less on those follow-up arcane shots to do your damage. But that, the Master Marksman, coupled with the Careful Aim, which has not seen a change yet, those aim shots, especially below 20, so just think about that for a second. Let's say you have, just for the sake of round numbers, you have a 25% chance to crit normally. So your aim shots will have a 50% chance to crit if you're running with Master Marksman. From there, if you're below 80%, or below 20%, excuse me, you go kill shot, aim shot, kill shot. You are going to do an obscene amount of damage in that, like, 3 globals. That is going to be crazy because you have the instant cast of your kill shot, then you have your cast of your aim shot, and then your instant again. You're just going to absolutely annihilate things, assuming everything still works the same way as it so far reads that it does. This here has not changed any, so natural mending, just focus you spend reduces the cooldown on exhilaration by 1 second. It's still 20 like it is in game. Beast Mastery is 30, just like it is in game as well. Camo hasn't changed. Trailblazer hasn't changed. So Trailblazer is good if you're running those old dungeons. Level 35, we get Chimera Shot back. I'm going to be going with Chimera Shot. That used to be like the bread and butter ability for Marksman. That was like the last ability you would get in the tree. It's been with Beast Mastery for the longest time, but we are getting it back. So it does magic damage instead of doing physical damage. Oh, I should say, it it does nature damage equal to your attack power, but it's still technically magic, so it can be mitigated a little bit easier than our other abilities. But it does a large amount of damage. It can hit up to 2 targets, and it's on a 15-second cooldown and costs 0 focus, so it's going to be great. I'm really excited to pick that one up. This here hasn't changed too much. Post haste, same thing as usual. Born to be Wild, same thing as usual. And then the new one is going to be Binding Shackles. So targets rooted by your binding shot deal 20% less damage to you for 8 seconds until the root effect ends. That's going to be good for PvP, especially in Arena. And level 45, these have not changed too much at all. Lethal Shots stays the same right now as it is in game. Deadeye, so this is where you get your Killshot, has 2 charges and causes aim shot to recharge 50% faster for 3 seconds, which is basically the next full global and then cast of aim shot, so you can kind of sandwich those together. This would be what I would pick. Double tap is probably not going to be what I pick anymore. It's what I'm currently running in game now, but Deadeye is just too sweet not to be able to just absolutely annihilate things with it, especially single target or even like in a cleave situation. And then the last bit here, level 50, calling the shots, is still the same as it is now. That was the Earl's Magic or Snowshoes or whatever from Legion. It's such a great talent. That's what I'll be picking. Lock and Load, unfortunately, it's only a 5% chance to trigger, so it's not really worth it in my opinion. I'll be running with Calling the Shots again. But Volley will be nice for AoE situations on AoE bosses. Like if this was this expansion, I would use this on fights like Hive Mind, where marksmen kind of fall short in AoE situations. Volley would be where you'd want to go there. So any of these changes, they've took out all the extra nonsense in the aim shot, so it just does 248%, not plus this, doesn't do only a certain amount of damage here, max amount of damage here. It just does 248% of your attack power, which is physical. Arcane Shot, they got rid of all of the multipliers as well, and they upped the cost of it to 30 focus, but then while you're leveling, it's going to be lowered back to 15. That's not a big deal. I don't really know why they do changes like this. It should just be 15 base, whatever. Disengage, we've already talked about that. They've lowered it to 20 seconds like it currently is in game, so you won't even notice that at all. Let's see here. So Misdirection, huge upgrade to Misdirect, because right now it is for the next 8 seconds any damage you do. Now it's for the beginning with your next attack within 30 seconds of casting it, and then lasting for 8 seconds. So I can precast this when we are doing a boss fight. At 10, I can precast this and not have to worry about trying to time it up while using my pre-pot, while using my my aim shot to start the pull. So that's a nice quality change, as well as you can do that in Mythic Plus too, where you're running to the next thing. I can just pop it on glitch now and not have to worry about it later. Multi-shot did not see any change. It can hit as many targets, all enemies, even though it says up to money sign, $1, something like that. I'm assuming they're going to lower that to not all targets, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be 10. I think that's what that number is probably going to be. They've been doing that to a lot of trinkets and classes in BFA, so I foresee that being 10. And then Rapid Fire hasn't done too much. It doesn't generate focus until you reach level 28. You can still use it while moving, so that's not a big change. Steady Focus is going to be the exact same thing, or Steady Shot is going to be the exact same thing that we see in game right now. And then True Aim, it just says Arcane Shot and Multi-Shot damage increased by 25% as you're leveling, so it's going to be the same. So the Barrage is just being lowered to only 8 enemies. Still not going to be running Barrage. We talked about that already. Explosive Shot had its number of targets lowered to 6. I'm not going to run with it anyway. Unfortunately, Explosive Shot as an AoE ability has just been ruined, in my opinion. I loved it when it was a single target dot back when it was survival. I'm glad to see they brought it back and they fixed it somewhat, but it's still not to where I like it. And then now available auto specs is the Hunter's Mark. which is pretty much baseline for everyone. We've already talked about this, and then the last thing was that piercing shot, it has now been just completely removed from the game. Unfortunately, it was one of those, much like power shot, that it doesn't have a place in the game, unfortunately. It's a cool idea, but it's bad in execution, and there's just too many other things that are better than it. And that's the frustrating thing, is that it's a nice ability, it's a fun ability to use, especially the old power shot, where it would knock the person back. But it doesn't matter whenever it's on the same talent line as some of your best abilities. So that's pretty much all it is I've got right now for you guys for the hunter changes. This is kind of like my thoughts overall now, where I'm excited to see the Killshot back. That's my number one thing, and I'm glad to see that you can have 2 charges for it, because I believe it was in Pandaria. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was Pandaria you could have 2 charges as well. So the one thing I don't like, as we kind of glazed over it earlier here, was that we are still going to be capped, unfortunately, as at least as you read volley here at the very end. Trick shots buff, causing aim shot and rapid fire, exactly like we have right now, to hit up to 5 additional targets. So unfortunately, in this current build, current iteration of Marksman Hunter, we are still capped at 5 targets, and I hate that. I wish that, this is just forward thinking, that they would get rid of the 5, make it 8, make it 10, and lower the damage overall. Or lower the damage that each one's going to take, but will allow you to spray and maximize your damage like most classes do when they AoE in Mythic Plus. That is one of the number one reasons why Marksman Hunter struggles in Mythic Plus right now, currently in Legion and BFA. BFA in particular, since we're in this newest iteration of Marksman, where we're capped. Unfortunately, we cannot do optimal AoE damage because we are capped at only being able to hit 5 targets. And when you're in these 19s and 20s in Mythic Plus runs, you're going to pull big packs. You have to. And that's the frustrating thing, is that we're capped by our class, by our spec. Just out the get-go. So I completely understand why so many people play Beast Mastery. Mobility's one thing, yes, but you can just hit so many targets. With your stomp, you can hit everybody. Where with Marksman Hunter right now, and at least it sets right now in Shadowlands, we can only hit 5 targets. So that's frustrating. I hope they'd see that changed very soon. But leave me your comments. Let me know. I know I rambled on a lot. I'm just really excited to be getting into Shadowlands and talk to you guys about this. I'd love to hear your feedback, so please leave me a comment below. Consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I will be doing a lot of, assuming I'm still on furlough, I'll be doing a lot of streaming over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Mr. Eggplant. I hope you'll consider following me, or maybe even subbing to me over there. It would mean a lot to me, because like I said, currently not employed right now, so I'm making the best of things. Good thing I was a good saver for the last couple of years. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave feedback, please. I look forward to seeing you in the fields of battle as a Marksman Hunter here in Shadowlands very soon. So thank you guys for watching.